As we move forward from the French Revolution, we remain in France, but now turn to the era dominated by Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon is a watershed figure in world history. Many historians mark his rise as the transition from early modern history to modern history. Everything discussed so far, absolutism, the Enlightenment, and the French Revolution, falls within the early modern period, but with the rise of Napoleon, we begin to see the emergence of features that define the modern age. These include the development of constitutional government and the idea of popular sovereignty, alongside the powerful force of nationalism. Napoleon's era also highlights the influence of charismatic leadership and political demagoguery, as well as the reality of military dictatorship. But it is important to understand, Napoleon could not have existed without the French Revolution. The revolution created the chaos, the opportunities, the military openings, and the political vacuum that allowed men like Napoleon to rise, and just as quickly, sometimes to fall. The revolution produced fame and fortune for some, disgrace and death for others. Napoleon was one of the few who turned these conditions to his advantage. Napoleon Bonaparte was not French. He was Corsican. His family was Italian in origin, and his father was a minor nobleman on the island of Corsica, which had only recently, 1769, the year of Napoleon's birth, fallen under French rule. Because of this new French control, young Napoleon was sent to a French military academy to prepare for service in the king's army. When the revolution broke out, Napoleon adapted quickly. He demonstrated no special loyalty to the king, nor to any particular faction. Instead, he served whichever government happened to be in power. This flexibility allowed him to survive the political purges that destroyed many other officers. Napoleon first gained significant attention in 1793 during the defense of the port city of Toulon against the British. But his true rise began in 1795. The newly formed Directory ordered him to suppress a royalist uprising in Paris. Napoleon responded with brutal efficiency, using what he famously called a whiff of grapeshot, a deadly blast of artillery fired directly at French civilians. Ironically, this act of violence against French citizens earned him promotion. In 1796, he was given command of the Army of Italy, despite being only 26 years old. In Italy, Napoleon won battle after battle, defeating Austria's forces and compelling the Austrians to sign a treaty in 1797 that ceded control of northern Italy to France. Virtually overnight, Napoleon became a national hero. Napoleon's popularity frightened the Directory. They worried he might become the rallying point for another revolution, this time aimed at them. Meanwhile, Napoleon was becoming increasingly involved in French politics, using the press as a tool to shape public opinion and strengthen his influence. He published 2 newspapers, one intended for his army and another aimed at a national audience, and in May 1797 he expanded his media presence by founding a 3rd publication, the Journal of Bonaparte and of Virtuous Men. This political activity made him even more dangerous to the Directory. They attempted to sideline him by sending him on risky military campaigns, hoping he might be killed. Instead, he survived, every time, returning more popular than before. In March 1798, Napoleon proposed a bold expedition to seize Egypt, then a province of the Ottoman Empire, with the strategic goals of protecting French interests in the eastern Mediterranean and undermining Britain's access to India. The Directory, eager to remove Napoleon from the political scene in Paris, approved the plan. At first, Napoleon enjoyed considerable success, but by early 1799, after marching into Syria, modern-day Israel, his fortunes began to reverse. His army suffered from disease, a lack of supplies, and several military setbacks. Despite these difficulties, Napoleon consistently sent exaggerated reports of victories back to France, and as a result, his popularity at home continued to grow. In August 1799, Napoleon received word from allies in Paris that the Directory was collapsing and Parliament was in crisis. Napoleon immediately sailed home, abandoning his entire army in Egypt. But he did not return to save the government. Instead, he met with a group of conspirators looking for a popular general to lead a coup. Who better than Napoleon? On November 9, 1799, troops loyal to Napoleon cleared the legislative chambers by force. A new government was proclaimed, the Consulate, with Napoleon as first consul, in effect the most powerful man in France. The conspirators believed they could use Napoleon to stabilize the country. They had no idea that this 30-year-old general planned to use them instead. From 1799 to 1814, Napoleon would rule France, first as first consul, then as emperor, and dominate much of Europe.